I think he's a generational talent, and I think it's going to take time for everybody to see that.
There's no light in that tunnel. That kid is, no, you mad? No way. Even Lawrence Okoli said Moses is bad.
No, I'm not saying that he's not good, but Dillian Whyte was Dillian Whyte, you know what I'm saying? But
is Dillian still capable of causing an upset?
I mean, look, Moses is super sharp, man. I don't see an upset coming, you know, I'll be real with you.
I know he's got the punch power to hurt and stop Dillian Whyte, but I also know that Dillian Whyte also has the punch power.
I've seen Moses, and I've said this from the beginning, from when he was 18, 19. This guy, he's it.
He's it.
He is it.
Frank Warren doesn't put people into fights that they don't have a significant chance in, and Moses Itauma is a cash cow for, with due respect to Queensbury and all the different heavyweights they've got.
Would you say it's the perfect matchup for Moses Itauma, or do you think it might have come a little bit too soon? They could have got maybe someone in between before you start getting to that level.
You look at Francis Warren, Frank Warren, they've got huge experience and they don't want to get it wrong with Moses, so they must be very, very confident that he can take care of business on August the 16th. But, you know, boxing's full of banana skins, particularly at heavyweight, and we remember when Dillian was knocked out in the garden, in the cold, eerie Matchroom garden by Alexander Povetkin. He had Povetkin down a couple of times and then bang, he walks into a shot. Bang. Wow. So you never know, that heavyweight power that Whyte has. Did he look amazing in Gibraltar when I last saw him? No, he looked okay. I think he's got certainly something left. He'll train very, very hard for this. He'll have a lot of pride going into it, and he'll want to win this to elongate his career, obviously. So he'll hope that Moses has bitten off a bit more than he can chew. But I think Itauma's the real deal.
This fight, Ben, right fight for him at the right time? Moses?
I think it's a good name in terms of it being at the right time. I don't think the timing is too much of a factor. I don't think Moses needs to catch anybody at a certain point in their career or anything like that.
Why is that?
Because I think he's good enough. I think he's plenty good enough. I think he's a generational talent, and I think it's going to take time for everybody to see that. But I think everybody can see that he has the potential to
Can you tell
that,
even though he's not been in against the levels that determine those outcomes? Because he's been in against various levels, and obviously lots made of the performance against Dempsey McKean, lots made of the performance against Marius Wack. I don't know how impressed I was against the Balogun performance, because to me it looked like a guy that wasn't anywhere near his level. But as a trainer, can you already make that sort of claim and go, forget about it, this is a generational talent, even though he hasn't been in against the levels? Yeah, there's still things to be done to, you know, you still have to go out there and do the things to be that, and to be able to claim that that is what you are. But obviously I get a chance to see him a lot more in the gym than everybody else does. And I know that there isn't much, if ever, been a heavyweight that has the capabilities that he's got.
I had a phone call a couple of weeks ago. They offered me to fight Moses Itauma in Saudi. You know, I said, how much? He said, 2 million. I said, nah, I'm out. I even phoned Dylan. I was like, Dylan, I don't know why you're taking this fight, you know, because this kid is on fire right now. And he's getting better and better. It's not like he's going backwards, he's going forward.
One of the reasons he is taking it is that Moses is WBO #1 at the moment, so that there's some kind of light at the end of the tunnel for Dillian taking that fight.
Ain't no light at the end of that tunnel.
I agree with you. I think Moses... I don't think Dillian gets beyond 4 or 5 rounds.
You're crazy. Yeah. There's no light in that tunnel. That kid is, no, you mad? No way. Even Lawrence Okoli said Moses is bad.
Do you think he's going to blast him out of there?
Yeah, I think it goes early. I think, I don't know Moses personally. I've spoken to him a few times, but I think he's definitely a man for the occasion. And I do think, with him being a headliner, I hope he doesn't get too excited and not do his usual job. But I think if he wanted to make a statement, and I think he's well capable of doing that.
Are we going to learn more? Because we're saying that Dillian Whyte has had his better days. Yeah. His most recent performance wasn't particularly impressive, was it?
Against Ebenezer Teti.
Yeah, who you beat, yes. Yeah. And he made a bit more hard work of it than people anticipated. So do we get to learn more about Moses then, if he's going in against Dillian, which on paper, people go, if he blasts Dillian Whyte out in 2-3 rounds, No, there's no holding him. But are we going to get a true reflection of that, but given the fact that we think Dillian Whyte is on the downside, on the downslope?
Well, he's not fighting the boxer. He's fighting the name. It's the name of Dillian Whyte.
That's my point.
That's what we're getting at this from Moses. That's what I think personally. Dillian is going to have other ideas in his head. He's going to do his best to cause an upset. Now, no one's saying he can't do it. The guy can hit like a truck. But what I'm telling you is the odds are stacked massively against him. Young, sharp, heavy hitting, good boxing ability, hungry, and wanting to prove everyone that, you know, all this hype is not for no reason. It's a dangerous fight.
I think just the young gun, man. Look, he's on a roll. Look, Dillian Whyte in his day was good. Not saying that he's not good, but Dillian Whyte was Dillian Whyte. You know what I'm saying? But
is Dillian still capable of causing an upset? What people would see as an upset against Moses?
I mean, look, Moses is super sharp, man. I don't see an upset coming. You know, I'll be real with you. He's super sharp.
Dillian Whyte's got the punch power to end it with any one heavyweight, but
especially that left hook.
His timing, mate.
I know. I listen. I agree with you. I think Dillian's going to earn very well. We've talked about it earlier. He earns very well. He gets it. If he wins, he's got the carrot of the WBO #1 ranking because Moses is #1 with the WBO, and he's going to pick up a couple of million. But I just think the kid's too good, too fast, too strong, too agile, too southpaw. And I don't think it goes 5 rounds.
But then again, he would have never taken it if he doesn't believe that he can beat Moses.
There you go.
So he believes in himself. But I believe in Moses. I know what Moses can do.
Itauma has that destructive power, and he's been matched tough, I think, so far. And he's got through them easily. So now they're matching him tougher. And I think this is a tough match for him. I think it's a very tough match for him, Dillian Whyte. He's tough as all boots, Dillian. And if he can beat Dillian Whyte, then he's certainly, you know, I'll take my hat off to him. Is certainly the real deal.
What's your initial thoughts on it, on the matchup?
Tough matchmaking, and it's sink or swim. I think it's a very good matchup for the fans who are getting carried away as I am and as we all are with them, to see if we're right, because this is a tough matchup. There was easier matchups out there to be made that would still be classed as a very good matchup for him. In my opinion, and Dillian Whyte's a very tough fighter.
What's in it for Dillian, do you think?
A chance to sort of beat him and establish the fact that he shouldn't have probably been in there with him. That's what Dillian will be thinking, I think, and Dillian will certainly be thinking this is too soon for this kid, and I'm going to make sure that I put this kid in his place. You know, Dillian's an old, wily, tough, durable fighter who's been there, seen it, and done it, and not just in boxing. You know what I mean? He's a proper fighter. He's a hard fella as it is anyway, but he's been involved with K1. I watched Dillian Whyte sparring years ago in a gym in Wigan with Rampage Jackson. He did 4 rounds with boxing gloves on, stopped after 4 rounds, put the shin pads on, and started doing 4 rounds kicking and punching, and more than held his own. He's a tough man. I respect him a lot, and as I say, I think this fight is a tough match for Moses Itauma. If he comes through that, then he's definitely the real deal.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hopefully speaking to Dillian as to what the mindset is on this, because I can see all these different angles when I speak to fans about it. Fans will look at this and go, Dillian Whyte's cashing out, right? And hopefully he's getting well paired to obviously take on a Moses Itauma. But then I start to try and think of what is in that for Dillian Whyte. Where does that put him? How does it project him in this heavyweight landscape? And if you stop a hype train, then all of a sudden, even people can play down the hype train by stopping something as colossal that is Moses Itauma. You can put yourself back in that picture. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a very, very tough task, because I watched Moses Itauma and I haven't seen anything that moves like that for a long period of time in that heavyweight frame. And okay, the level of opponents that he's beaten so far might not necessarily be of the elite. And I'm not saying that Dillian Whyte right now is of the elite, but it's absolutely on the pathway to that. If Dillian Whyte can stop it, then all of a sudden Dillian Whyte gets himself back in a conversation for some really big fights. I'm not saying world title fights, but what I am saying is really, really big fights. So it is. I personally think, as a piece of matchmaking, I think it's absolutely fantastic. More so for Moses Itauma, but I can see the benefit for Dillian Whyte if he manages to pull it off.
What is your forecast for this fight?
I think he's going to be in a tough fight. I know he's got the punch power to to hurt and stop Dillian Whyte. But I also know that Dillian Whyte also has the punch power to cause damage. And the one thing with Moses at the moment is that's not been tested. So we'll see.
But do you think are you still a bit tough fight? But you expect him to stop him?
I expect him. I believe he will win the fight. I believe he'll win the fight. How he wins it, we'll see. For me, beating him is a big thing. Right. However he does it, and I want to see the other side of him as well. I want to see him. I want to see him in a tough 12-round fight where he comes through it and boxes his way through it. He's not a one-trick pony. He can box, but as I say, this is a tough one. This is going to be. This is a fans' fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight.
That's what it is. It is a fans' fight.
I think it's good matchmaking, because I think that Dillian's past his best now, and he's been a good level of opponent. He's fought. I think he won an interim world title maybe, and he's fought some big names. I just think. Yeah, I think Dillian throws all his punches come wide. He doesn't throw anything really straight and neat. And I think the fact that Moses is so neat and tidy, I think he could look spectacular and get rid of Dillian early.
We've got to go to break. I'm curious, if Itauma wins that fight, if that fight happens and he wins, how many more fights do you think he'll have before he has a shot at the World Championship?
Well, I mean, he could probably be entitled. He'd be a high enough ranking to go in straight away. I'd think just take your time, give him a few more fights, maybe 4 or 5 fights, and then we'll see.
Dave, I want to ask you about 2 fights that are coming up and what your view on them is. We've obviously got Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte, and we've got the fight that I just mentioned to Spence, which is David Adelaide against Filip Hrgovic. How do you see those fights going?
I think Dillian Whyte's only had 3 fights in 3 years. At 37 years of age, I expect Itauma to win inside the distance. Dillian Whyte, his best was a world-class heavyweight, but we haven't seen him at that level for 5 or 6 years, so they're not daft. They won't put him in with Dillian Whyte if they thought it was anywhere near his best. And Hrgovic should be way too good for Adelaide, but Hrgovic never seems to. He always flatters to deceive. Really, he never really impresses. But his amateur background and even his wins as a pro really puts him levels above Adelaide. But yeah, I'd like Adelaide to win, but I think Hrgovic on all-known form should win.
Let's talk first of all about Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte. What's your view? Is this the right time for Moses Itauma to step up against a veteran, a stalwart of the heavyweight division? Is this a rightful test for him?
Well, look, it could be masterful matchmaking. Frank Warren's a sensational matchmaker. He always has been. He's always known. Very rarely gets it wrong. He's obviously got a special fighter on his hands with Moses. He's done everything right, and he's made us all think this kid is going to be. He's going to be the next face of British boxing. It's either going to be perfect timing. It's like who's got who at the right time? Has Moses got Dillian at the right time in his career, or has Dillian got Moses while he's still green? So we're going to see, and that's what makes it a very intriguing matchup. I think Moses Itauma looks special. He really does. But as what people keep saying, he hasn't had that ultimate chin check, and I'm sure it's going to come soon. Is Dillian the guy to deliver that shot? Who knows? We're going to find out. It's a very, very intriguing matchup.
It's a fantastic fight in many ways because, like you say, it's about timing and it's about the way the escalators, the sliding doors are passing here. But absolutely, you speak to most people in the fight world, and even though we haven't seen, I say Moses tested it. It's a test every time he steps in there. Yeah. He's only 20. In the preamble with Ollie Klink and Darren Ambrose just now on their show on Kickoff, I was saying that he reminds me of a Wayne Rooney when he turned up in football age 17, fearless, coming forward, scoring, just so watchable. You couldn't take your eyes off him. And there is that feeling with Moses Itauma, and he's so cool, calm and collected the entire time. We've had him in the studio before. He never gets ahead of himself. Yeah. He's not a trash talker. Yeah. There's a little bit of, there's an edge of arrogance in him that you thrill to and enjoy. Yeah. But I just wonder, most people in the boxing world see him. Obviously, he's a lefty, he's a southpaw, and Alexander Usyk has shown that being a very skilled southpaw in the heavyweight division is a massive advantage. He just is probably going to be too quick, too young, too good for Dillian.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I first saw Moses Itauma when he came with a school bag on. I think he was 15 or 16 to spar Joe Joyce at Stallard's boxing gym.
I know the story. Please
in London.
tell it. Yeah.
And he got he took his school uniform. He had his school jacket on. He had his school bag. Took it off. I was just like, hold on. I was thinking, what's happening here? Like this isn't right. And he got in there, and I was like, hold on a minute. What's he doing here? Like he sparred. There was 3 sparring partners in there, and I looked at him straight away. I was like, oh, this kid is fantastic.
And he was just short of 16, wasn't he?
He was just short of 16
years old. It should almost have been illegal. He should almost not have been allowed in the ring with Joe.
A young kid. Yeah. A young kid. He's still...
And how was it? Well, what did the spar look like?
Listen, Joe was a big, strong man, but Moses Itauma, you just looked at him and just thought, this kid is going to be fantastic.
Was he relishing it?
Yeah. As
he took off his school tie
no
and his
fear,
jacket
no fear whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like usually you'd think it's a bit daunting coming in. There's 3 heavyweights. Like there's a few heavyweights.
Silver champion.
Olympic silver medalist, and Joe. This is Joe when he was at his prime as well, beast. And he got no problems. Like Moses Itauma, he's ticked every box so far, and all we can do is see this kid is fantastic. So, but he hasn't had that test yet.
Hasn't had the gut check.
He hasn't had the gut check yet, and we're gonna get it. And listen, I wish Moses Itauma well. It's British boxing, and like you say, there is a hint of arrogance there, but it's good. It's good. He's not rude. He's very courteous and very polite. He's just got ultimate self-belief, and this is what we want to see. Like when Nazim Hamed come on, I like seeing that type. I like seeing someone that could sell, that could put bums in seats. And I look at Moses Itauma and I think with the crop of heavyweights, the Fabio Wood, the Daniel Dubois, these boys are going to be our top boys in the heavyweight division in the years to come.
It wouldn't surprise me if he is there with that list of Mike Tyson, Floyd Patterson and Muhammad Ali, who are the 3 youngest heavyweight champions of the world. Wouldn't surprise me to see him 2nd, 3rd or 4th and a world champion in 18 months' time. There he is against Dempsey McKean, who was supposed to be a test for him. He dealt with him very handily, didn't he? But I think what he does is he creates the angles. That left that comes through.
Punches going backwards as well.
But
unbelievable.
He punches going backwards. He's light on his feet. The late, great Colin Hart said he looks a little bit, it reminded him of Marlon Brando in looks as well. He's a very, very kind of calm individual. I mean, Francis Warren's done a great job with him. If we look at his career right now, and he deals with Dillian Whyte handily, and he looks very impressive, and he gets a knockout or he gets an early stoppage, and he looks phenomenal as he has done so far. And people start to talk about Turki Al-Sheikh's tweet at the Daniel Dubois Alexander Usyk fight. Turki sitting ringside, tweeting through his X account, "I want to see Moses Itauma against Alexander Usyk." For me, take it. Take that fight. Because, yes, it's the chance he's going to be old man by Alexander Usyk. It's 2 southpaws, 2 lefties against each other. But if he can earn 20 million at this stage in his career, I know it's early, but why not take the opportunity?
I personally think in that fight, Usyk would have to be heavily compensated for that fight. Massive money. Because it's all to lose for Usyk. He's fighting a kid. An unproven kid.
Yeah, so he should be able to deal with it.
But if
Turkey will compensate.
But if you're Moses
Moses
Itauma, I think that kid has enough about him to think, of course I'll fight him.
Yeah.
Whenever I've spoke to Moses Itauma, nothing seems to faze him. And I think it'd probably be Ben Davison to be thinking, hold on a minute, I don't want to just slow down here. But Moses Itauma, I think, has got enough about him to go in there and fight. I think, if the opportunity's there, there's nothing to lose for Moses Itauma, everything to gain.
And if Turki Al-Sheikh's putting it forward, don't worry, there'll be compensation for Alexander Usyk. If it isn't Alexander Usyk, is it Joseph Parker next? Is it Ajit Kabayel? Is it Fabio Wardley? Who is it?
Well, he's in that mix, isn't he? If he disposes of Dillian Whyte, I mean, it depends what Dillian we're going to see on the night. If it's the one against Richard Lartey, you've got to favour Moses Itauma. But if it's the Dillian of a few years ago, we're in for a great night.
Moses Itauma, his first headline event, takes on the body snatcher Dillian Whyte. You first on this. How good is Moses? I mean, you must. hear the stories that everyone seems to hear about the sparring and all that. How good is Moses when you're watching him?
I've seen Moses, and I've said this from the beginning, from when he was 18, 19. This guy, he's it.
He's it.
He is it. He is it. This is my opinion. It's boxing. I know it's pressure and all these kind of things or whatever, but he's it.
Why?
He's got skill set, fast hands, footwork. From what I've seen, he's got a chin. Not that you need to be getting hit with these wild shots, because clearly you've done something wrong if you got hit. Good jab, you know. For me, in my opinion, he's it.
He ticks all the boxes for sure. Like, just to echo what you said there, you know, with the boxing IQ, hand speed, punch power. We've seen him take a shot. You know, the rumours come in from the gyms as well. He can take a shot. He has spars with recognised fighters in there, hard spars as well. So he ticks all the boxes. The only things that we don't know about him is what is he like in them penultimate rounds?
Yeah.
When it gets tough, when it becomes psychological over the physicalities. And that's what we've got to see, or what we've got to find out. But so far, you just look at this kid and go, he is the next super heavyweight.
What we haven't seen as well is obviously he's headlining this card.
Yeah.
The pressure, you know this, the pressure of headlining is different from being the guy on the undercard that no one's asking for interviews. The interviews are going to be multiples now. He's only 20. Can he take that pressure as well? There's a different type of pressure.
I don't think Francis and latterly Frank would put him in that position that they didn't think he could. I mean, yeah, you're right. He's got to do face-offs. He's got to carry the press conferences. He's got a personality. Dillian should really be able to manipulate that to his advantage because he's been there. But Dillian was like a mouse when he was in a press conference with Tyson Fury. So there's a debate about how Dillian will be in his press conference. But I think Moses Itauma's got the personality to do whatever he wants. He's very calm, very stoic. He's, you know, it all seems to be going on behind the eyes, and you don't see much from him. He, you know, I mean, he's being bolder in some of the language he uses now, and a little bit more challenging and a little bit more demanding of the opposition in terms of who he wants to fight and how he wants to fight and who he thinks he can beat. But I don't think, in the same, he knows Frank very well. Frank Warren doesn't put people into fights that they don't have a significant chance in. And Moses Itauma is a cash cow with due respect to Queensberry and all the different heavyweights they've got and all the different opportunities they've got and what they've done in the last 2 years by changing the face of boxing, by forging this relationship with the Saudis. Moses has huge opportunity, you know, and putting him as headline becomes part and parcel of it. Get him in early, because one of the things you're going to try and do is make sure he's got a personality to cope with it, because when he gets to the next level, and I think he will beat Dillian, and I think he'll beat Dillian convincingly, with no disrespect intended. I just think Moses he's not the light at the end of the tunnel, he's the train. Right, and that's what Dillian's going to run into.
It's all about the development, and I think if Moses is the fighter, which we all agree on, he is, then he will feed off this, and it'll bring a better Moses Itauma out, which, you know, is going to be tough for Dillian at this stage of his career. He's been a good fighter and he's been in some great fights, but you just go, boxing is all about timing, man. And you go, you got this young kid that's coming through against a world-class operator that maybe not at his best now, and you go, this is all about timing. And I think Frank Warren is great at doing that, you know, delivering the fights. And yeah, I know that Dillian Whyte is working with Frank as well, but Dillian now gets the opportunity, the pension fund, if you like, going in against the young star in Moses. So it's a big opportunity for him to put himself back in the name. Moses is, WBO #1 at the moment? Mm-hmm. So this is Dillian's route back in. But I think we all agree, Moses Itauma is like, yeah, he's something special.
Yeah, we've seen this so many times, haven't we? The young gun coming through against the experienced vet. Remember, it's all live on talkSPORT as well. August 16th, Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte. Philip Hrgovic is on the card against David Adelaide, which should be an interesting fight as well. Nick Ball versus Sam Goodman, world title fight in the featherweight division.